Hello everyone, welcome to the video, and in this video we are going to see that how we can transform this data into an interactive dynamic report with a heat map in just few minutes using ChatGPT and Excel. So how does the final report will look like? So it will look like this. Yeah, you say it right and you heard it right. Within some minutes you will be able to create this kind of report, which is fully interactive, by the way, just using ChatGPT and Excel. So what are we waiting for? Let's get started. So this is the data that we have. So what is this data all about? This is basically a UFO sightings data in USA. We know lot of UFO appears in USA only. So it's the UFO sightings data in USA from the year 2006 to 2019. So in this column we have all the different states of US. Here we have the years and here we have the respective months, and then we have some data about how many people absorbed the UFO, right? Now how to transform this data from this kind of thing to this kind of report? So if you closely look at this particular report, you can see that here I have state. So basically in the rows, in the columns, I have my months. So from January to December, and I can filter it using any of the years. So any of the year I can use to filter this data. And here we have the people absorbed, right? So basically if I can summarize, in the rows I have the states, in the columns I have the months. I am using year as a filter, and then I show the people absorbed here, right? Now I don't know much of Excel, so what should I do? Let me ask ChatGPT so that I can get some help from there. Okay, so I have my ChatGPT open. Now let's ask ChatGPT about our query. Okay, so I already have the query. Let me paste that here. So you can see my query says that I have an Excel data set with the following columns. So I have given the information about the columns. Then I am saying that I want to create a view with the state in the rows, month in the columns, and want to see people observed value while being able to filter the table with the year slicer, right? So that's what we have analyzed, and that's what I have asked to ChatGPT. Now let's see what ChatGPT responds to us. Okay, so it is generating the answer, and let's see that it is telling us to create a pivot table. So it's saying that select your data set, insert a pivot table from the insert tab of the Excel ribbon, then click on pivot table to create the pivot table. Then it is saying us to set up the pivot table. Basically drag the state field to the rows area, drag the months field to the columns area, and drag the people observed to the fields value, and then add a year slicer. That select the pivot table, go to insert tab, click on slicer, choose year from the list of fields and click OK. So this is how it will be creating a slicer. Then it is saying that filter by year, use the slicer to filter the pivot table by the desired year. This will dynamically update the data displayed on the pivot table based on the selected year. So yeah, you got your answer here. Now let's check whether it's working or not, right? So this is our data. So as per ChatGPT, we need to select our data. So I have selected all of my data, and then it is telling us to go to insert tab, click on pivot table. So okay, this is all of my data, and I'll click on new worksheet so that my pivot table got created in a new worksheet. Then it is telling me to drag the state into the rows column, month into the columns, and people observed in the values. So yeah, I have the data here, and then it is telling me to go to insert tab, basically pivot table analyzer, analyzer insert tab. Let me check what it says. It says that select the pivot table, go to insert tab. Okay, selected the pivot table and go to insert tab. Okay, and click on slicer. So this is the slicer, guys. So let me select the ear slicer, right, and click on OK. Wow, I have the ear slicer now. Now if I select any of the ear, it is filtering dynamically. So yeah, guys, you see we have it, right? So whatever the ChatGPT answer that we got, that's actually working. Now if I have it dynamically working, then if I want to create a heat map, I think that's pretty easy. All we have to do is just select all the select all the way to the down, and then just go to conditional formatting, and then you have color scales, right? And we will select this color scale, and you see this is all dynamic. Now this looks much similar to this one, at least from a functionality perspective. If you see our final dashboard, so that's what we are doing here, right? And that's what we got here as well. Now how to create this kind of thing then? So if you see, well, there is not much change actually. Like I just uh, colored this background as a light gray color. Slicers, I turned it into horizontal. So you can also turn this slicer into horizontal one. If you click on the slicer, go to the slicer, and then here you can increase the number of columns, right? So just increase the columns all the way to this much and to 14, because we have 14 years, and then just make it bigger like that. And then you can have the slicer like the way I have it, right? And also you can multi-select here. So if I want to select 2 years, or maybe let's say last 5 years, right? So last 5 years I can select, and I can cancel. It is select all, like it is selecting everything, right? If I remove it and click on any one of the year, then I'm selecting a single year, right? So that's what I have done here. Okay, and this is nothing but color formatting, and that's it, I guess. Like only just color formatting and all. And also if you don't want to see this grand total and all, what you can do is you can also copy this whole thing. Okay, let me copy this whole thing. Just copy it, click on another sheet, and click on right click here, and click on this one, paste link. So if I paste link, all these numbers are referring to the pivot tables. Basically this one, this pivot table, these reference, it is referring. So you can see it is referring to sheet 1, E2, and then all these things. And if I bring the slicer over this page, so if I copy the slicer and come to here, you can see this will also work. The numbers are changing because this slicer is connected to this pivot, and this pivot numbers are linked in this particular sheet. Okay, so now if I just format it something like this, okay, and maybe this one I will provide a color scale of heat map like this. You see exactly the way we have here. All you have to do is just a little bit of coloring and all, and it all works as expected. So you see how much time we took. It just took a few minutes to create an amazing heat map report based on a complex data set which is not easy to understand, and now we can easily analyze and derive conclusion from this one. So this is called data driven analytics, and we just did it using ChatGPT and Excel. And it wouldn't be wrong to say that ChatGPT helped us in the most of the part, right? I hope you learned a lot of things from here, and I will see you next time.